I've ran 3 100-mile races over the last, maybe it's about 3 years now, and I'm training for my fourth. And so I've overcome a lot of the hurdles that I initially had to. Like now I have a good base, and mentally I know I can do it. I've done it 3 times. So I am in a more competitive mindset. Like I've always been competitive. I won one of the 100-mile races I finished. Though I want to get faster and I want to set PRs and I want to hopefully go for course records and maybe even win some of these races. I just can't necessarily bet everything on that, so I got to focus on what's the thing I can do to have the best chance at that. And so this may not necessarily be applicable to you now. Maybe you've never done a 100-mile race. Maybe you've done a lot and you're just looking for how to get a little bit better. This is what I'm currently doing for Zion 100 in April. We're about 2 months away while I'm recording this. And I've done it before. I just did it in like 26 hours and 45 minutes. I want to break 24 hours. And so a little bit of that comes with speed. Maybe not 6-minute miles, but I think I have to average something like 14-minute, 20-second miles to break 24 hours. It's a trail race with 11,000 feet of vert. So here are some of the things I'm doing to be able to actually do that, hopefully, and do it in a healthy way where I'm not struggling through injuries and whatnot. In the past, I did a lot of volume, and I've kind of just been getting over like a little bit of burnout when it comes to running, so I'm not running a crazy amount, but I have a good enough base that I think if I can focus on some key elements, which I'll talk about in a second, I'll be able to do it. I'm not running 80-mile weeks. I'm running like 30 right now, and I'm trying to build up, but I'm just trusting the process and doing it the right way. So a couple key things. Strength training all the way and mobility work. I know you've probably heard this. If you haven't, I can't stress the importance of this. I have this fundamental belief that most injuries boil down to a lack of mobility and a lack of strength, right? If I'm running 100 miles, my legs need to be able to endure that. Even my upper body needs to be able to endure that. And I have dealt with a lot of injuries where I was worried I had to take time off, and then I focused on stretching certain areas depending on the injury, and the pain completely goes away. So if you're dealing with injuries, go watch one of my other videos or just stop this video. I don't need your watch time. I need you to be healthy and happy. Go stop this video and start stretching or listen to it. But like that's so valuable. And strength training is a big part of what I do. Right now I do a push-pull leg split. I really like lifting heavy. I don't know if this is the most optimal for running, but it's something I enjoy, so I do it. And I just do chest and shoulders and tries on one day, back and biceps on another, and leg day. The key thing with leg day is I have to do that after my speed workouts. And so on Tuesday is when I do track sessions. And so I run in the morning and then I lift in the afternoon, evening. I do heavy squats, quad extensions, hamstring curls, and then I like calf raises and tibialis curls, which go a long way. And tibialis curls, if you're not familiar, is basically like the tibialis is the muscle that runs along your shin. I know this isn't the shin. I just can't show my legs. I'm not that flexible, but what I'm doing is I'm hooking a kettlebell around my foot, and I'm basically just like kind of curling it or flexing, contracting the tibialis muscle. So 4 sets of 15 with a 12-pound kettlebell. You're going to feel the burn. It's awesome. I also think that really strengthens the feet. So strength training is going to be a big part. It has been a big part of my running and my success in running and just staying healthy. The other part, which I touched on, is mobility. I just do typically 7 to 10 minutes of stretching after every run. It's like right after I'm still outside, or maybe I come inside, but before I do anything else, I stretch. Just some very simple static stretching, like you bend your knee and grab your ankle behind your back, touch your toes type of thing. I stretch my calves a lot. And then I do a couple of yoga sessions throughout the week. I just like really spending some time stretching, and I'm a certified yoga teacher, so I enjoy that kind of thing. So that helps with injury recovery, just feeling good in general throughout the day. And now let's talk about the running part of things. So I am running 4 to 5 days a week right now. I have some back-to-back long runs that I'm planning where maybe I'll do 6 days a week. But the typical week looks like an easy run on Monday, a speed workout on Tuesday, a rest day on Wednesday, another run on Thursday, maybe one on Friday, my long run on Saturday, and Sunday I don't run. I will have to for some of the back-to-back long runs I have planned. But on the days I'm not running, typically I do about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, maybe an hour on a stationary bike. Super easy, zone 1, low heart rate, just for some active recovery. Also helps build a base, right? So I think cross training is huge, and I make the time for it. I think it's worth it. But I am pretty much doing all my runs in zone 1, zone 2. And then on my speed days, and I'll start implementing a second speed day actually this week. But on Tuesdays, I'm doing what I call lactate threshold mile repeats. Pretty common workout. If you're not familiar with what this is basically zone 4. So if you need to figure out what heart rate zones are, I've made other videos on this, or you can just Google it. And each zone, or kind of each zone, trains different systems or different things. And so zone 1, zone 2 is really good for building base, getting faster. It's low impact, but getting faster at the same heart rate so you can endure longer. Zone 4 is typically like lactate threshold, and zone 5 is like VO2 max. I'm not so concerned about my VO2 max. I have a pretty okay one, at least according to my watch. I'd love to do like a test or get an actual evaluation at some lab, but I'm not doing that right now. And VO2 max for me is something I would like to work on, and I'll work on more when I'm training for a marathon later this year. But I'm not like pushing 190 beats per minute. I think my max heart rate is somewhere around 194 or something like that. And so I think probably not that it's bad, and it'd be great to have a good VO2 max, but it's not my biggest concern when it comes to an ultra marathon or running 100 miles. I think that's obviously definitely going to have a massive impact on 5Ks and 10Ks or half marathons, marathons. But for me, what I need to be able to do is work through lactate as I build it throughout my run. And so even when you train zone 4, you potentially get a little bit of training in like with zone 5 or your VO2 max. But I need to be able to stay at a pace for a long, long time, not like a shorter duration. And so I've been really, really enjoying these track workouts where I warm up for about 2 miles, and then I do mile repeats with like a quarter mile recovery in between each repeat. And I'm actually going to start doing 2 mile repeats. So I'll do like 2 miles at my lactate threshold pace, a quarter mile recovery, and then another 2 miles. And maybe I can build on that. I'm just doing 2 sets of that on Tuesday this week. And it's really, you have to figure out what your lactate threshold is. And most watches you can do a fitness test, which is okay. I sent my workout to David Roach so he could look more in depth into it and give me some heart rate zones. And I'm roughly around, it's going to be somewhere around 620 to 650 mile pace. So I'm doing repeats within that frame. And the idea is, as you train this system, you're going to be able to flush out lactate better and more efficiently, and be able to then maintain a faster pace. So I'm not planning on 630s at my 100-mile race. I'm not running that fast, but it still applies when you're at mile 60 and you're running 10, 11, 12-minute miles. So that's what I'm doing to be able to endure a little bit longer. Anyone's going to break down over the course of 100 miles. I want to be able to keep running and not walk run as much. Like, I will have to, but I want to be able to run 10-minute miles, and if I'm lucky, 9-minute miles towards the end, like past 60 miles, right? Like, I want to be able to run, not just walk or power hike. So that's one of what I like, the way I'm approaching this, and I think it's going to work out pretty well. I mean, of course, like, that's what I'm trying to believe. I have my doubts. But so far, I'm really liking this training plan, and it's working out for me. And maybe there's something you can get out of this, even if it's just as simple as stretching after every run. The other thing I'm going to experiment with more, and this is where I'll end the video, is high carb fueling. And this is another thing I've been learning from David Roach as I listen to his podcasts. And I think it's like, I've tried the like carnivore or animal based stuff, and I just don't feel like I'm getting enough food in me. Like, I like the way I feel throughout the day. I just need more calories, and it's really hard to eat 4,000 calories of ground beef. So maybe someone else can do that, and if it works for you, great. I'm trying to work up to where I can take 80 grams or 100 grams of carbs per hour, which is crazy to think about over 24 hours, because that's just a lot of carbs. I'm just starting to believe in what I'm seeing with it, and also what I'm hearing from other people as I learn from others who use this strategy. So I'm in big experimentation mode, but that's kind of my life because I'm trying to find out what works best for me when it comes to running. If you like running content, my name's Reese. That's what this channel is about. I'm trying to help people learn from my mistakes, hopefully set PRs, maybe even course records, and just overall enjoy the sport of running more. So if you like that kind of stuff, I hope I get to see you in another video sometime soon. Peace.